So hello and welcome to another video, and today we're going to discuss from the legal actions. Okay, we already did that. So the legal groundwork, we're going to do this a little bit faster. Okay, I'm not going to take a lot of time in this thing. Basically, what are the legal groundworks? Statement of work clearly states what task are you have to accomplish. Then comes the master service agreement or the specific details of the business arrangement, non disclosure agreement or NDA agreement that defines confidentiality restrictions and or sharing information. Uh, these three are actually basically the kind of work you have to do in order to make a good relation with the client. Like if the client actually gives you a particular information which is confidential and you are going to leak, you have to give the permission, or you have to give the assurity that you are not going to leak or do any kind of illegal activities with that kind of information. So that is NDA. Here are the US you know US restrictions. Okay, that is a thing you have to understand. Like this is the actually restrictions or the export restrictions, restriction on shipment or transfer of technology or services outside the US. See the US State Department resources. So this is the US State Department resources. So okay, right now maybe it's deleted somehow. But after that, local or and national government restrictions, laws and regulations differ among countries. So you have to know that. Like if you are in India, you have to read the laws and regulations for this particular thing in India. If you are living in India, because I am living in India, and maybe you are from any another country, so you have to see their laws before attacking any other thing. Then comes the corporate policies. You have to understand and read the corporate policies before doing any other thing, attacks. Okay. Then comes the national then comes the national or local restrictions, or like it's differ along it's differ in every country that I already talked about, and some local customers also differ, like the corporate policies which I talked about. Written permission, it is actually important that you get proper written permission before attacking a particular system. If you didn't get the written permission, if you get something like I told that you can do it, that is not a correct thing. You have to do a written permission before doing anything. Okay. Service provider agreements. In service provider agreements, there comes the things called service level agreement, or the SLA. It is a legal agreement between the service provider and the client. What are the service you are going to provide it, like what are the facilities, what are the investment the client wants to do. This is the agreement which the clients will going to sign in. Okay. And what are the limitations, obviously, that you have to understand. Standard and methodologies, like there are actually a lot of techniques. Okay. You can take this example as a you can take this example as you can understand a lot of attacks. What are the attacks? You can see a lot of different kinds of attacks from here. You can see a lot of learning phases too, which is going to help you anyway to learn more of the things. But these are actually the standards or the techniques you are going to learn before searching or doing any kind of attacking systems. I'm highly recommend you to look into these kind of systems techniques. Okay, then comes also the WASP top 10. I already talked about that, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I already talked about this too. The niche government, actually, these are the things, these are the methods, these are the actually standards, and the informations, the CVEs are actually stored into these kind of websites. You can actually check it out, and yeah, this is it. I already talked about this too. Okay, environmental considerations, like what are the environmental things you have to check before attack, like what are the network types, the physical network or virtual segment, wired or wireless, media or LAN, man or WAN, what are the kind of things they are using. Application, what kind of application are they using, are they using a third party application for their database services or something like that. Are they using cloud, I already talked about that, like if they are using a private cloud or public cloud or hybrid cloud, you have to check that out. Okay, and then comes the in scope assets, like the wireless networks, the IP ranges. What are the things, what are the scopes you have to check in before doing a particular scan or attack. Scoping the engagement, like you have to firstly check it out that what kind of thing you are going to do. If you are going to do goal based attack, like the client already talked about, like what are the things he wanted you to do, and that is kind of goal based, and the objective based, more of like a black box pen testing, like you are doing whatever you are doing. Okay, like but the whatever in your mind comes, you are testing it. That is more of like objective based. Compliance based also is like what are the already pre existed security problems or security implementations are there, actually is called the compliance based. Then comes the red teaming or blue teaming. These are actually teams or offensive security professionals who are created a team for the purpose of pen testing. Okay, now what is important is called the ethical mindset or ethical hacking mindset. You have to always be ethical for your purpose. You have to take the permissions, you have to write the report for your clients. You are actually you have to entrust the clients that you are actually trusted. Like you have to use your tools in limitations. Don't use anything anywhere all time. You have to know where you have to use what. Okay, don't overdo it. Pay attention to the limitations which defined by the clients. Watch out for the long running test. If you are doing a brute force attack or something like that, you have to watch it, like when the time comes that I need to know that yeah, this thing not going to work. Okay, what are the professional risk? There can be fines, there can be criminal charges. Okay, you have to take care of that. I'm not going to give you an understanding how to download the virtual box. You can actually search it out on yourself and learn it, install it. I guess if you are doing this kind of work, you will already have installed Kali Linux in your system or any other Metasploit or whatever. What are the project strategy? I already talked about that. Like, are you whitelisted? Like you have all the access of the resources in that particular company, or you are blacklisted. Means it's not practically blacklisted. It basically means that you have no access. Uh, and like if you have the kind of access, everyone can access anything. but if you are, unless you're specifically blocked. Security exceptions, you have to check that if the application has firewalls or NSC or certificate pinning, that is also a thing. Most comes under scanning. So yeah, explore company policies. Okay, then comes this black box pen testing or white box pen testing or gray box pen testing. Black box means you have no knowledge of the application you are testing. No knowledge means not no knowledge. No knowledge means basically that you are a real attacker. You have to attack that particular system without the help of any internal issues. What this particular test does, you can't actually test a insider. Okay, white box pen testing is actually the complete opposite of it. You have the internal information, and this is actually for the insider attack. Okay, then comes the gray box. Actually it's the combination or mixture of these two. Like you can have some kind of an insider access, and plus if you are attacking it from outside, you have to understand that. Risk acceptance. Pen test can be risky. Pen test service can be interrupted. The client can be harmed. Not intended to do it, but somehow it can be. Okay, scope vulnerabilities. You have to do scheduling, when you should run these tasks, when you should do these, whom should be notified if you have done something wrong, whom should be notified if something goes wrong. So yeah, that is the kind of thing you have to remember. Okay, scope creep, common in nearly all projects. Client requests additional task after SOW is signed. Okay, so many ways doable takes resources away from the core SOW task. Basically this means like if the client wants to do some of the more task from you, want to give more task to you, you can ask for the resources. Like obviously it's going to cost resources like the money or the salary. So that is adversary tier. What role should be the pen tester assume? Like what are basically this is the threat actors. Someone going to attack your system, right? So what kind of person you have to act in order to attack that particular system? It can be done anyways, but basically what are the threat actors? Threat actors mean what kind of hackers are actually exist, what type of hackers, not the white hat hacker or black hat hacker. I'm going to talk about the what type of. So there are advanced hackers or the advanced persistence threat. Okay, then comes the script kiddies, the persons who don't have any knowledge about internal working of a particular system. Then comes the hacktivists, who are actually activists but do the hacking for their own ideological purpose. Insider threat, like you are an insider threat. If you are in company and you are leaking the data for the company, you are an insider threat no matter what the company does. Capabilities, what resources does the attacker have, organized or sponsored. So equipments that are also provided from the clients. Threat actors, you can say like what are kind of the motives of that motives of the threat actor, what are the motives of the attacker. So then comes the threat model, like what are the things you have to do to act as a threat actor. Most of the things I just wanted to discuss about the compliance based assessment. Compliance based assessment is basically the company, what are the security assessments or the security policies that can be added just not without doing any kind of outside assessment. It's like the what are the password policies, what are the data isolation policies, key management limitations, clearly defined objects based on the regulation. These are the attacking procedures you have to follow, so you have to understand that. So this is it. I completed the planning and engagement part. The next part would be the report writing part. So that's it.